I am sitting in my living room right now, in the house I bought 3 months ago. The afternoon sun filters through the bay windows I picked out myself. Every corner of this place represents 5 years of sacrifice, late nights, and saying no to things I wanted. I should feel proud. I do feel proud. But there is this hollow ache in my chest that will not go away. Last Friday, I drove to my parents' house, planning to surprise them with the best news of my life. Instead, I overheard a conversation that shattered everything I thought I knew about where I stand in my own family. Before we dive into what happened that night, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. If this story resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe, because what I discovered that day changed everything I thought I knew about family loyalty. Let me take you back to where it all started. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood just outside Seattle. My brother Derek is 7 years older than me. We had a normal childhood, I guess. Nothing extravagant, but we never went without. Derek was the wild one. He dropped out of college after 1 semester, bounced between jobs, and got his girlfriend Sarah pregnant when he was 27. They got married quickly, had another kid 2 years later, and have been struggling financially ever since. Derek works part-time at a warehouse, and Sarah does some freelance graphic design from home. They make it work barely. Me, I went the opposite direction. I studied hard, got a degree in software engineering, landed a solid job at a tech company downtown 5 years ago. I make good money, 6 figures, but I never flaunted it. Growing up, I always felt this pressure to succeed, to prove something. Mom and Dad never said it out loud, but I could feel it. The unspoken comparison between Derek and me. He was the cautionary tale. I was supposed to be the success story. But here is the thing. Despite my career, despite doing everything right, I never felt like I got the same attention Derek did. When he announced Sarah was pregnant with Tyler, my parents threw this huge celebration. They bought them a crib, a stroller, paid for half the hospital bills. When I graduated summa cum laude, I got a card and a dinner at Olive Garden. When Derek turned 30, Mom organized a surprise party with 50 people. My 28th birthday last year. We went to Denny's. Just the 4 of us. I told myself it did not matter. Derek had kids. He needed the support more. I was independent. I could handle things on my own. And I did. 5 years ago, I made a decision. I was going to buy a house. Not a condo. Not an apartment. A real house with a yard and a garage. Something that was mine. Something that proved I made it. So I worked. I picked up overtime whenever I could. I skipped vacations. While my coworkers went to Mexico or Hawaii, I stayed home. I meal prepped instead of ordering takeout. I drove my beat-up Honda Civic, even though I could have afforded something nicer. Every bonus, every tax refund, every extra dollar went straight into my house fund. My friends thought I was crazy. Marcus, my closest friend at work, used to joke that I was living like a monk. But I had a goal, and I was determined. 3 months ago, I finally did it. I closed on a 2-story house in Bellevue. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a small backyard, and a 2-car garage. $390,000. I had saved $100,000 for the down payment. The rest was a mortgage, but a manageable one. The day I got the keys, I sat in the empty living room and cried. Happy tears. Proud tears. I had done it, all by myself. No help, no handouts, just hard work and sacrifice. I wanted to tell my parents right away. But then I thought, why not surprise them? I could invite them over for dinner, cook Dad's favorite steak, and just casually show them around. I imagined their faces, the shock, the pride. Mom saying, "That is my boy." Dad clapping me on the back, maybe even getting a little emotional. It would be perfect. So I kept quiet. I furnished the place slowly over the next few weeks. Nothing fancy but comfortable. I was planning to invite them over the following weekend. Everything was set. And then Friday happened. I finished work early that day and decided to stop by my parents' place unannounced. I picked up a couple of pizzas from their favorite spot, thinking we could have a casual dinner. Maybe I would drop a hint about the house, build up the suspense a little. When I pulled up to their house around 7 p.m., I noticed Derek's minivan parked in the driveway. That was odd. He usually only came over on Sundays for family dinner. I grabbed the pizzas and walked up to the front door. That is when I heard voices inside. Loud, animated. I was about to knock when I heard Mom say something that made me freeze. "We need to talk about the house situation." I stood there, hand raised, not sure what to do. Should I knock? Should I leave? Something in her tone made me stay put. Derek's voice came next. "Mom, Dad, we really appreciate this. The landlord is raising our rent again. We cannot afford another increase." My stomach dropped. "House situation?" "What house situation?" Dad spoke up. "We have been thinking about this for months. Son, you have 2 children. You need stability. Renting is just throwing money away." Then Mom again. "We talked to a realtor last week. With our retirement fund and some savings, we can afford a down payment on a decent place for you and Sarah." I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. I stood there holding 2 lukewarm pizzas, trying to process what I was hearing. Sarah's voice grateful and relieved. "Thank you so much. This means everything to us. The kids will finally have their own rooms. Tyler has been asking for his own space for over a year now." My hands started shaking. Derek laughed that easy, carefree laugh he always had. "I cannot believe this. You two are lifesavers." Then Derek said something that made my blood run cold. "What about Evan? Should we tell him silence?" A long, heavy silence. Dad finally answered. "Evan is doing fine. He has a good job, no family to support. He will understand." Mom chimed in. "Besides, he has always been so independent. He does not need our help like you do, Derek. He can take care of himself." I do not remember walking back to my car. I do not remember the drive home. I just remember sitting in my new driveway pizzas, still in the passenger seat, staring at the house I had worked 5 years to buy. The house I was so proud of. The house I wanted to share with my parents. And all I could think was one thing. Have I ever really mattered to them? The weekend passed in a blur. I did not call my parents. I did not answer when they called me. Saturday morning, Mom texted, "Sweetheart, we have not heard from you. Is everything okay?" I typed back a single word. "Busy." Sunday afternoon, Dad called. I let it go to voicemail. His message was brief. "Son, your mom is worried. Come over for dinner tonight." I texted back, "Cannot make it. Work stuff." It was a lie. I spent Sunday sitting on my back porch staring at the fence I had installed myself 2 weeks earlier. Monday morning, I could barely focus at work. Marcus noticed immediately. "Dude, you look terrible." What happened? I told him everything. Every word I had overheard. Every feeling I could not shake. Marcus listened, his expression darkening as I spoke. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair and let out a long breath. "Man, that is messed up. You need to confront them." "I do not know if I can," I admitted. "They are my parents. But they are treating you like you do not exist. Like your success does not matter because you do not have kids. Maybe Derek needs it more. He is struggling. I am not." Marcus shook his head. "Stop making excuses for them. You worked your butt off for 5 years. You deserve better than being an afterthought." His words stung because they were true. That night I did something I am not proud of. I still had access to my parents' online banking from last year, when I helped them set up their mobile app. I logged in. I should not have. But I needed to know, and what I found made everything worse. 2 weeks ago, my dad had transferred $120,000 from their retirement account to a separate savings account. There were emails to a real estate agent, property listings in Capitol Hill, a 4-bedroom house for $510,000. My parents were planning to put down $300,000. Derek would finance the rest. I closed my laptop and sat in the dark. 2 years ago, I asked my parents for a loan. $20,000 to help pay off my student loans early. I had a plan. I would pay them back within a year with interest. Dad said no. He said money was tight, with retirement coming up. They needed to be careful. I understood. I paid off those loans myself over the next 2 years. But now somehow they had $300,000 to give Derek. Not loan. Give. The memories started flooding back. Small things I had pushed aside over the years. Derek's 30th birthday party. 50 people catered food. A rented event space. My 28th birthday Denny's with just the 4 of us. When Derek and Sarah got married, my parents paid for half the wedding. $15,000. When I graduated with honors, I got a card with $50 inside. When Tyler was born, they bought Derek and Sarah a year's worth of diapers and formula. When I got my first promotion, they said congratulations over the phone. I was always the responsible one. The one who did not need help. The one who had it figured out. But what I was realizing now, sitting in the house I bought alone, was that being responsible meant being invisible. Tuesday evening, Marcus invited me out for drinks after work. We went to our usual spot, a dive bar near the office. He ordered us both beers and waited for me to start talking. I keep thinking about what my mom said. I told him that I do not need their help like Derek does. Like needing help is the only way to matter. That is garbage, Marcus said. You know what I think? I think they took you for granted. You never complained, never asked for anything, so they assumed you were fine. Meanwhile, Derek is over there playing the struggling father card and getting everything handed to him. He is struggling, though. 2 kids, low income. I get it. Sure, but that does not erase you. That does not make your achievements less valuable. You bought a house, man. Do you know how huge that is? Especially in this market. You should be celebrated, not ignored. I took a long drink. I wanted to surprise them. I had this whole plan. I was going to invite them over, cook dinner, show them around. I wanted to see them proud of me. Just once, you know, not because I need their approval, but because it would have been nice. And you still can, Marcus said. But first, you need to tell them how you feel. Really tell them. Not in some polite, avoid conflict way. You need to lay it all out. I do not know if I am ready for that. Then when will you be ready? When they hand Derek the keys to his new house? When they throw him another party? You are not really invited to. He was right. I knew he was right. But knowing and doing are 2 different things. 3 weeks went by. 3 weeks of dodging calls, sending short text responses, making excuses. My parents knew something was wrong, but they did not push. Not until Wednesday night. My phone rang at 9:15 p.m. Mom. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Evan. Her voice was bright, excited. Too excited. We have amazing news. My stomach tightened. What is it, Mom? We just helped Derek and Sarah close on a beautiful house. 4 bedrooms, huge backyard for the kids. You should see it, honey. It is perfect for them. I felt like I had been punched. Again. Harder this time. Tyler is going to have his own room finally. Mom continued oblivious to my silence, and there is even a little office space for Sarah to do her design work. We are so happy for them. You should come see it this weekend. We are helping them move in. I took a deep breath. My hand was shaking. Actually, Mom, I have news too. Oh, what is it, sweetheart? I bought a house. 3 months ago. The line went silent. Completely silent. For what felt like forever. What Mom's voice was different now. Confused. Almost defensive. You bought a house. When? Why did not you tell us? I wanted to surprise you, I said quietly. I had this whole plan. I was going to invite you and Dad over for dinner, show you around. But then, I came by that Friday night with pizzas, and I heard everything. Another silence. Then quietly, what are you talking about? What Friday? The Friday you were all discussing the house you were buying for Derek. I stood outside the front door and heard every word. about the retirement fund, about how I am doing fine and do not need help, about how Derek needs stability, and I am just too independent to matter. Evan, honey, you do not understand. No, Mom, I understand perfectly. I worked for 5 years. 5 years of overtime, no vacations, no new car, no nights out. I saved every penny. And 2 years ago, when I asked Dad for a $20,000 loan for my student loans, he said money was tight. But somehow you have $300,000 for Derek. Mom's voice cracked. Derek has 2 children. He is struggling, and I have been struggling alone for years. But I never complained, because I did not want to burden you. I just kept working, kept saving, kept proving that I could handle it. And you know what that got me? Nothing. I became invisible. Dad's voice came through. He had been listening. The phone was on speaker. Son, you have a 6-figure job. Derek barely makes $40,000 a year. We are trying to help him provide for his family. So, success is a punishment. My voice was rising now. Because I worked hard and made something of myself. I do not deserve your support. I do not deserve to be celebrated. I do not even deserve to be told that you are proud of me. That is not what we are saying. Dad replied, but his voice was weaker now. Then what are you saying, Dad? Tell me. Because from where I am standing, it looks like the only way to matter in this family is to fail. Derek drops out of college, gets fired from 3 jobs, and you bail him out every time. I graduate with honors, get promoted twice, buy my own house, and I get a text saying, good job. Silence again. This time, I did not wait for them to fill it. I saved for 5 years. No trips, no fun, no life. I wanted to make you proud. I wanted to show you that I made it. But you were never going to be proud, were you? Because I am not Derek. I do not have kids. I do not need rescuing. I am just the backup son, the one you forget about because he is fine. Evan, please do not say that. Mom was crying now. I could hear it. I need space. Do not call me for a while. Evan, wait. I hung up. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. But I felt something else too. Something I had not felt in weeks. Relief. I had said it. All of it. And I could not take it back. I did not want to. The next morning I woke up with a strange sense of clarity. For the first time in weeks I knew exactly what I needed to do. I opened my laptop and started typing. It took me 2 hours to write everything out. Every moment I felt overlooked. Every time Derek got something I did not. Every achievement of mine that went uncelebrated while his mistakes were forgiven and funded. I was not mean. I was not cruel. I just laid out the facts. At the end I wrote this. I need time to process everything. I will reach out when I am ready. Until then, please respect my space. I sent the email to both my parents. Then I did something I never thought I would do. I blocked their numbers. Not permanently. Just for now. I needed silence. I needed to think without their calls and texts pulling me back into guilt. Next, I left the family group chat. The one where Mom shared pictures of Tyler and Emma, where Dad sent bad jokes, where Derek posted updates about his life. I had always been the silent observer in that chat anyway. Nobody would miss me. The first few days were hard. I kept reaching for my phone, expecting messages that were not coming. But slowly the quiet became comforting. I started doing things I had put off. I painted the guest bedroom. I built a bookshelf for the living room. I planted tomatoes and herbs in the backyard. Small things. Things that made the house feel more like mine. Marcus checked in on me every day. How you holding up? Better, I told him honestly. It is weird, but I feel lighter. Good. You needed this. You needed to put yourself first, for once. A week after I sent the email, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it. Then I saw the message. Bro, Mom told me what happened. Can we talk, Derek? He must have borrowed Sarah's phone. I did not respond. 10 minutes later, another text. Evan, pick up. Please. Then a call from the same number. I stared at it for 3 rings before answering. What do you want, Derek? I did not know you were struggling. I thought you were doing great. I was doing great. By myself. No help. No support. That is the difference between us. Look, if I had known you needed money for your student loans, I would have. This is not about money, I cut him off. This is about being invisible. You got the house, the attention, the support, the celebrations. What did I get? Expectations and silence. I was supposed to be fine because I had a good job. But you know what? I could have used some encouragement too. I could have used some recognition. I could have used parents who noticed me. That is not fair, man. I did not ask for any of this. Life is not fair, big brother. You taught me that. Remember when we were kids, and you got the new bike for Christmas, and I got socks. You said life is not fair. Get over it. Well, I am getting over it. By putting distance between me and people who make me feel like I do not matter. I hung up. My heart was pounding, but I felt good. Strong. Like I was finally standing up for myself. Over the next 2 months, I focused on building a life that made me happy. I bought new furniture without worrying about the cost. I invited Marcus and a few other co-workers over for a housewarming party. We grilled burgers, played cornhole in the backyard, and I felt genuinely happy for the first time in months. Marcus raised his beer. To Evan and his awesome house, built by hard work and 0 handouts. Everyone cheered. It felt good to be celebrated even in this small way. I started new hobbies. Gardening became my therapy. Every morning before work, I spent 20 minutes watering plants and pulling weeds. It was peaceful, meditative. I joined a local running club and met people who knew nothing about my family drama. To them, I was just Evan, the guy who ran a decent 7-minute mile and always brought extra water bottles. One Saturday morning at the running club, I met Jenna. She had just moved to Seattle for work and did not know anyone. We started running together, then grabbing coffee after. She was easy to talk to. Genuine. When I told her about my house, she was genuinely excited. That is incredible. Buying a house in this market. You should be so proud. I am, I said. And I meant it. My parents tried reaching out through email. Mom sent a long message apologizing, asking for a chance to explain. Dad sent a shorter one. Son, I was wrong. Can we talk? I read them, but did not respond. I was not ready. Not yet. Then 3 months after our last conversation, something happened that I did not expect. I was in my garage organizing tools on a Sunday afternoon when I heard a car pull into my driveway. I walked outside and froze. Derek was standing there looking thinner and tired. His minivan was running Sarah in the passenger seat. What are you doing here? I asked. Mom is in the hospital. Heart attack. She is stable, but she is asking for you. Everything stopped. My anger, my hurt, all of it disappeared in that moment. When last night, Dad called me this morning. I have been trying to reach you, but your number is blocked. I looked at Sarah through the windshield. She gave me a small, sad wave. I looked back at Derek. Is she okay? Doctors say she will be fine. But Evan, she is asking for you. She keeps saying your name. I grabbed my keys without thinking. I will follow you. The drive to the hospital felt like it took forever, and no time at all. My mind was racing. I was still angry, still hurt. But she was my mom, and she was in the hospital. Everything else could wait. When we got to her room, Dad was sitting in a chair beside her bed. He looked up when I walked in, and I saw something I had never seen before. He looked old, fragile. Mom was lying there, hooked up to monitors, her face pale. When she saw me, tears immediately filled her eyes. You came, she whispered. I sat down in the chair on the other side of the bed. I am here, but we need to talk. Really talk. Dad stood up like he was going to leave, but I shook my head. No, you stay. Both of you need to hear this. Mom nodded weakly. I am so sorry, Evan. I never realized how we made you feel. I never thought about it from your side. Why, Mom? Why did you always choose Derek? Why was he always the priority? She closed her eyes. Because he needed us more. Or so I thought. I was wrong. I see that now. Dad spoke up, his voice rough. We thought you were strong enough to manage on your own. We took you for granted. We assumed you did not need us, because you never asked for anything. That was our mistake. A big one. I was strong because I had no choice, I said quietly. But I still needed you. I still needed to know I mattered. That my success meant something to you. That you were proud of me, not just relieved I was not a problem. Mom reached for my hand. I know that now, and I am sorry it took this for me to see it. We sat in silence for a moment. Then I took a deep breath. I am willing to rebuild our relationship, but things have to change. Anything son, Dad said immediately. No more comparisons. No more favoritism. Derek gets treated the same as me. Not better. Not worse. Equal. And I need you to respect my boundaries. I will visit when I am ready. I will call when I want to. But you do not get to guilt me or push me. Understood. Mom nodded, tears streaming down her face. We understand. And one more thing. I do not want your money. I do not want you trying to make up for this with a check or a gift. I want you to see me, to acknowledge me. That is all I have ever wanted. We will, Dad promised. We will do better. I stood up. I need to go, but I will come back. Just give me time. Mom squeezed my hand. That is all we can ask for. I left the hospital feeling strange. Not happy, not sad, just tired. Derek caught up with me in the parking lot. Thank you for coming, he said. I nodded. She is our mom. I am sorry, Evan, for all of it. I did not see it. I should have. Yeah, you should have. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then Derek said, Your house. Is it nice? It is perfect. He smiled sadly. I am glad. You deserve it. It was not much, but it was something. 6 months have passed since that day in the hospital. Mom recovered fully. The doctors said it was a mild heart attack, a warning sign that she needed to take better care of herself. She did. She started walking every morning, changed her diet, and went to therapy. Yes, therapy. She told me that during one of our lunches together. Jenna moved in with me 4 months ago. She brings life to this house in ways I never imagined. There is music playing on Sunday mornings now. There are plants on every windowsill, most of which she picked out. There is laughter, the kind of easy, genuine laughter that makes a house feel like a home. I see my parents once every 2 weeks now, usually for lunch at a neutral spot, a diner we all like. Sometimes dinner at their place, though I have not invited them to mine yet. That will come. Eventually. Our relationship is not what it was. It is not what I wish it could be. But it is honest. We talk about real things now. Mom asks about my work, and actually listens to my answers. Dad sent me a text last month. Just 3 words. Proud of you. It should not have meant as much as it did. But it did. Derek and I are not close. Maybe we never will be. But we are civil. He came by the house once, just to see it. He walked through every room, nodding quietly. At the end, he stood on the back porch and said, You did good, little brother. Really good. It was the nicest thing he had said to me in years. Last month, my parents invited me to Tyler's 8th birthday party. It was at their new house, the one they bought for Derek. I almost said no, but Jenna encouraged me to go, so I did. I brought a gift, stayed for an hour, and left without any drama. Progress. Small, but real. As I was leaving, my parents walked me to my car. Dad handed me an envelope. We want you to have this. Inside was a check, $100,000. I stared at it. What is this, Mom spoke up. It is for your house. We know it will not make up for everything, but it is a start. We want to help you, like we helped Derek. I looked at the check for a long time. Then I folded it carefully and handed it back. I appreciate this. I really do. But I cannot take it. Dad looked confused. Why not? You deserve it. Because I bought that house on my own, I said. Every brick, every window, every single nail represents my independence. It represents me proving to myself that I could do it without anyone's help. Taking this money would feel like I am accepting less than I deserve, and I have learned something important over the past few months. I deserve to be seen as equal, not as charity, not as an afterthought, just equal. Mom started to protest, but I held up my hand. If you want to help me, treat me the way you treat Derek. Not more, not less, just the same. That is all I have ever wanted. Dad looked at the check, then at me. Slowly he nodded. You are right, son. You are absolutely right. That night I sat on my back porch with Jenna beside me. The stars were out, and the air smelled like the jasmine I had planted along the fence. She leaned her head on my shoulder. You know what is funny, I said. I thought buying this house would prove something to them, that it would make them see me. And did it, she asked. No. It proved something to myself, that I do not need their validation to be whole. I spent years trying to be enough for them, trying to earn their pride, their attention, their love. Turns out I just needed to be enough for me. Jenna kissed my cheek. You are more than enough. I smiled. Yeah, I'm starting to believe that. Mom still calls every week now. We talk about small things mostly. The weather, her garden, my work projects. It is not deep, but it is consistent. Dad sends me articles he thinks I would find interesting. Derek texted me last week asking for advice about a job opportunity. I answered. We are building something new. It is not the family I wanted. But maybe it is the family I needed to become. And this house? It is still my favorite place in the world. Not because it is big or fancy or expensive, but because it is proof. Proof that I can build something beautiful on my own. Proof that I do not need permission to be happy. Proof that sometimes the best foundation you can lay is the one you create yourself. Sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is not waiting for someone else to see your worth. Build your own life. Create your own success. And if the people who are supposed to celebrate you cannot, maybe they do not deserve a front row seat to your happiness. You get to choose who has access to your heart, your home, and your peace. I look at this house every morning and feel proud. Not because my parents finally acknowledged it, not because Derek admitted I did well, but because I did it. Me. Alone. And that is enough. So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Have you ever worked hard for recognition that never came? Drop a comment below and share your story. You are not alone. And if this story connected with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Your support means everything and helps me keep sharing these real-life stories. Thank you for listening, and remember, your worth is not determined by who celebrates you. It is determined by how you show up for yourself. Take care of yourselves out there, and I will see you in the next one.